Welcome to the Essential Self-Care Podcast, where we talk about all things self-care for those of us who are, let's face it, too busy for self-care. It's time to bring that same compassion that you offer to everyone else in your life to yourself as well. In this podcast, you'll hear real-life stories of how self-care transformed people's lives as they were going through life's storms. You'll learn practical, actionable tools to begin the self-care journey yourself as well. Because like I always say, small changes make a large impact. I'm your host, Dr. Sheetal Ajmani. I'm a physician, best-selling author, and the founder of Radiant Living Institute, where I guide strong, successful women to get unstuck and learn to live radiantly again through major life transitions. Through my signature program, Reclaim Your Radiance, you'll reclaim your worth, renew your energy, and restore your happiness in your life, career, and relationships. To get started, download your free guidebook, 6 simple yet powerful steps to create your radiant life at radiantlivinginstitute.com. Quick disclaimer before we get started, the information in this podcast is for educational purposes only and is not medical advice. Always seek the advice of your own medical practitioner and or mental health provider about your specific situation. Now, let's get started. What is essential self-care? Here's the thing. I see the words radical self-care everywhere, and I get it. This concept of self-care can be a radical one. To shift from focusing on everyone else's needs to tuning into your own, that can be a really hard mindset and lifestyle shift. And so the word radical, which to me brings to mind that it's something extreme or far-fetched or requires great effort. I can understand why that word is used alongside self-care so much these days. But what I'm proposing here in this podcast is something different. That self-care isn't radical or extreme, that it doesn't have to be hard or require significant amounts of time or energy, but that we reframe this idea of self-care from being something radical to being essential. And what I mean by that is starting to think about self-care as just part of your daily life. Learning powerful tools and simple practices that you can integrate into your daily routines that will help you feel better, more energized, happier, and joyful. Tools that will build your resilience, or in other words, how quickly and gracefully you're able to get back up after a stumble or a fall. Because life will always give you challenges. That is the nature of life. And right when you feel like you have a handle on things, you get thrown a curveball, right? Sometimes it's relatively minor, like a change in the time of a meeting or an appointment, and other times it's major, like your significant other telling you they want a divorce or getting laid off from a job or a new health diagnosis. Practicing self-care isn't going to make all of those quote-unquote problems go away. No, not at all. But what it is going to do is it's going to allow you to flow through these seasons of your life with a deep knowing and a big picture perspective of how this challenge, how this major thing you're going through right now fits in with the grand story of your life and your journey. Practicing self-care allows you to move through the difficulties with a self-compassion, gentleness, and ease that allows you to respond to your situation instead of reacting to it. It allows you to begin rebuilding your life from a place of intention instead of simply reacting to your circumstances. Self-care is a way to remind yourself that you are loved, that you have within you what you need to be happy and at peace, that you can search and work towards all those things in your external life that you think will make you happy, the job, the relationship, house, car, that is all completely valid. But doing it in a way that ultimately you know deep down that the true source of your happiness lies within that deep connection you have with your inner self. And I mean your capital S big self. That's what this podcast and Radiant Living Institute is all about. It's about finding that light within yourself and shining, radiating it outward in whatever you do. That doesn't necessarily mean that you're smiling and laughing all the time. It doesn't mean covering up your true feelings or even frustrations about a given situation. What it means is that you allow yourself to feel all the things that you need to feel, recognizing that it's all part of the grand spectrum of life itself. You see, you wouldn't know light if you didn't also see darkness. You wouldn't know joy if you didn't also see sadness. You wouldn't know peace if you didn't also see anger. Life is in these contrasts. Abraham Hicks says that contrast creates our desire to ask for what we really want. It's when we're in those situations that are hard and don't feel good and that we don't like, that we come to know what we do want our life to look like. These challenges, if we let them, can be a gateway to understanding ourselves better, to standing strongly and powerfully in what you know deep down that you deserve and are capable of. And so, on that note, I'm going to wrap up this episode. Be sure to subscribe so that you'll know when new episodes are released. Coming up, I'll have more solo casts like this, and you'll also hear from special guests who will share their real-life stories and the tools and self-care practices that help them get through the tough times. I'll be bringing on experts in a variety of modalities, from physicians to mind-body practitioners, and so much more. So be sure to stay tuned, subscribe, and share this with your friends. Until next time, thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe, leave a positive review, and share this episode with someone you know. And remember, your free guide, 6 simple yet powerful steps to create your radiant life, is waiting for you at radiantlivinginstitute.com. Download it today.